you wanna find me, yeah, I'm in the front row. With my 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. The best place to be, I'm in the front row. Best place to be, yeah. If you wanna find me, yo, I'm in the front row. With my 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front.
What's going on, guys? In the Front Row podcast, InTheFrontRow.com. Your host, as always, Rpdriguez. Here today, special guest from In the Front Row and his own podcast, Serenity Now Sports. Danny Kohan. Danny, say what's up, man.
What's up, guys? Exciting day in Lakerland.
Yeah, so that's basically what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk a lot of Lakers, so let's get in. I guess the news, well, not guess, it is. The news has been this Kawhi Leonard trade that's trying to be worked out right now with the Lakers and the Spurs. What have you heard so far, Danny? What are you picking up through sources, and what are you gathering as you see this progress?
I think Lakers in the driver's seat right now. I think that it's known that Kawhi wants to come to LA. He wants to be a Laker, and the Lakers have the motivation to go get him right now because they know that if they make a trade for Kawhi before Friday, when Lebron he's going to make his decision whether he's going to opt in for next year or he's going to become a free agent. I think he has until midnight on Friday to make that decision. So Lakers want to complete this trade so that they can get Kawhi in purple and gold and make the decision easy for LeBron. I think that LeBron wants to win titles. That's his main goal is to pass Jordan and get those 6 titles. And I think that if Kawhi is here, it makes the decision easy for him. That he wants to be next to another superstar. I think they already have his rumors that he talks to Durant. I don't know if that's true or not, but everyone that I've talked to, all the signs point to LeBron is set on wanting to become a Laker and wanting to win a title here. So he wants to play with guys. He doesn't want to play with young guys. He wants to play with guys like Kawhi. I don't know how his feelings are on Paul George, but I think if we make a trade for Kawhi, I think LeBron's coming.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that 100%. I heard that now they were reporting, one of the longtime beat writers from Cleveland was saying earlier that LeBron's decision to come to the Lakers, I guess, isn't going to waver on whether Kawhi or Paul George come. I guess this is going to be strictly all about himself and not who the Lakers pick up. It's hard to imagine that would be the scenario, like LeBron would actually sign without Kawhi or Paul George, but that's what they were leaking over there. I also saw regarding this Kawhi Leonard trade that Tanya Ganguly from the LA Times, Laker beat writer, she just tweeted out a few minutes ago that, earlier it was said that the Spurs were asking from the Lakers Ingram, Kuzma, Hart, and a pick, and that Magic Johnson had offered only Ingram and a pick. Ganguly just reported that Ingram has been the only name so far that the Lakers haven't offered in a trade deal. So that's kind of refreshing because to me, I thought that Ingram was the Lakers' best young player so far. What do you think?
Definitely, I think Ingram's our best player. I think he's our best asset. I can't imagine that a trade won't happen without Ingram in it. I think the Spurs would be dumb not to want Ingram back in the trade, and Spurs are not a dumb organization. And the Lakers, they're in a position where I think when it comes right down to it, they'd be willing to give up Ingram because I think they have a feeling that if they get Kawhi, that LeBron, you're even saying, a lot of people are even saying, that LeBron's probably coming here anyways, but I think this would seal the deal. And if you're the Lakers, how many franchises wait decades and decades and decades for an opportunity like this? And here they are with an opportunity in front of them where they can get a Kawhi Leonard and probably get a LeBron James, two of probably the top 5 players in the NBA. I just think you got to do what you got to do. I know Lakers fans, they don't want to give up the young guys.
No, they don't.
These young guys, but you got to do what you got to do. You got to win now. These opportunities don't come around that often.
Yeah, you know what? And Laker fans, I know I'm with them. I love the young guys. I love watching them grow and develop, and it's cool seeing them grow organically. But let's not forget that Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are actually from the LA area. I know the Lakers drafted Ingram and they drafted Kuzma. But actually, you want to talk about real LA Lakers? These guys grew up Laker fans, Kobe fans. Paul George has said numerous times, Kobe's his guy. He had pictures on his wall of Kobe Bryant, and he dreamed. I don't know if you saw, if you've been watching his docuseries, Danny, but today he said loud and clear, I always wanted to be a Laker. Kobe's my favorite player, and I always dreamed about winning a championship in the purple and gold. Did you see that today?
I did, yeah. I watched the first two. Actually, the interesting thing is that so part one, I was there that day. They showed in the beginning they filmed him going into a gym. It was actually a CAA Sports pro day, and they filmed him coming in and talking to Jerry West and stuff like that. I was actually there that day, got a picture with him, and of course everyone was telling him, "Come to Lakers, come to Lakers." I'm sure he's heard it a million times. But also in that docu-series, in the part two, he said that he wants to be a Laker one day. He wants to fulfill that dream that he's had to be a Laker. That's something that he definitely wants to fulfill. So, and he's also, of course, brought up other teams. But to me, I mean, if I'm in his shoes, and especially if LeBron James comes to the Lakers or Kawhi Leonard comes to the Lakers, it's like, what else do you want? You wanted to play for Lakers your entire career. You've always dreamt of being in that purple and gold, being like, Kobe. You imagine yourself as Kobe Bryant growing up. Now here's a chance to come to LA with a team that will have maybe Kawhi Leonard, maybe LeBron James, and you're going to be in the spotlight. You're going to be contending for a title, which is another thing that he is a big goal in his mind. In that docuseries, he talks to D Wade, and D Wade describes how the best feeling, forget everything else, is putting that trophy over your head. And you can tell Paul George wants that feeling. And I don't think it's going to happen in OKC. It's not going to happen playing next to Russell Westbrook. What's the point of going back there? So, here's where you can kill two birds with one stone here. You can come to LA, fulfill that dream, and then also have a chance to win a championship.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you just said. And I really, truly think two reasons, right? If he stays in OKC, it's strictly for the money because he's going to make $40 million more. But I also think he's saying so many nice things about Russell Westbrook because I think he really, truly does like Russell Westbrook in his heart of hearts. And he wants Russell to know that. But I think he's also preparing. I mean, look, you don't sign a 3-part docuseries deal with ESPN to announce, hey, I'm staying in OKC. Because then why would you have done it? Like, you could have just tweeted it out, a picture of you signing your contract, or you and Russell Westbrook hanging together, like, coming back for 4 more, or whatever the case may be. But I just can't believe that you would make a Hollywood movie in Hollywood to announce that you're leaving Hollywood. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I mean, all signs point to LA. I think this is where he wants to be. For me, the only reason why he'd stay in OKC is because of the money. Because, yeah, like you were saying, OKC has no chance. And I even tweeted to Paul George earlier. I put LeBron and then the greater sign, Russ. So it's like, if you think you can win with Russ, well, for sure your chances of winning with LeBron are a hell of a lot more. So I mean that's where I am at that. I mean,
yeah, I don't want to slight Westbrook. I mean, I'm not trying to slight him. He's a great player and everything. It's not him. It's the team composition. I mean, you got Carmelo Anthony playing there next year, making 20-something million. Then you have Steven Adams has a max contract. There's no room there for that team to compete with the Houston, with Golden State. It's not realistic. And as far as the money, I mean, guys reach a point in their career. Look at Kawhi. He's saying, I don't want that super max. I'd rather be a Laker.
That's crazy. That's a lot of money.
Guys reach a point in their career where they've already made so much money. I mean, how much has Paul George made in his career? $100 million, something close to that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they've made so much money. They're set money wise. Now it's more about, hey, I want to win a title, and where do I want my family to be for the rest of my career. And I think that the Lakers are a great option there for both.
And you know what? Call me crazy, but let's just say Lakers don't get LeBron. They don't get Kawhi. They keep that young core. They bring back Julius Randle. And I think Paul George would be on a better team if he came to that Lakers team over going back to that OKC team. I think they'd be better than OKC. What do you think?
I think they'll be a playoff team. I don't know if they'll be better than OKC, but they'd be right there. They would be a playoff team, probably like a 7-6 seed. And what was OKC this year, like a 5 seed or something? They lost in the first round, so they'd be right there. Yeah, if they just brought everybody back. So, and that's just bringing guys back. I mean, we obviously Laker fans are expecting a lot more than that. We have 2 max squads. Randall's another guy that. Why not include him in a signing trade if you're dealing with the Spurs and the Spurs don't like Lonzo? I don't think that Randall, if LeBron James came, I don't think he fits with the team anymore with LeBron there. I mean, I love Randall too, guys. I love these young guys. I love how hard they play. I love their potential. But if LeBron James comes, everything changes, and rightfully so. I mean, this is one of the best players of all time, and so. I think if we can make a deal where we can include, if there's a team for a 3-way deal, whatever it is, where we can keep one of those Ingram and Kuzma and instead send Randall off in a sign and trade, I think that would be the best option for the Lakers. So Lakers right now, they have so many options. I think they're looking at all of them, and they're trying to make the best decision for the short term and the long term. But when it comes down to it, I think that they're going to make a deal for Kawhi because it's too big of an opportunity to pass up, I think.
Yeah, it is. Because you know what? I mean, as strong as I feel Paul George is coming here, they took that risk with Paul George, and now they might lose out on it. I mean, right. Yeah, we all think Paul George is coming here, but, I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know. I mean, and you could do that same thing with Kawhi. If he gets traded... Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt, but there's no guarantee in the NBA. Those guys are always changing their mind. Things change, Obviously, if you go to a team for a year, they're going to spend that year trying to recruit you to do everything they possibly can to get you to sign long term, So, say Kawhi was traded to the Celtics or Sixers.
Oh.
There's no reason to think that he's going to come to LA after that because now it's a clean slate. Now they're going to have a year to try to convince them they're going to be a winning team, But I feel like we got to make a trade before he gets sent off to one of those teams, and we're going to look back and regret it.
Now, if the Lakers can't get the deal done by tomorrow, because the trading or the free agency starts on Saturday, local time, LA time at 9 p.m. Now, if they can't get the trade done before then, what do you think happens with LeBron? Do you think he waits 4 more days, like they say? I guess they say he doesn't want to do it on the first day announced, but he doesn't want to wait until 4th of July, I guess, or doesn't want to go past 4th of July without making his decision. How do you think these next, 48 hours play out?
I think, so in scenario A, where Kawhi there's no trade, I think no matter what, LeBron is signing with the Lakers. I really feel that way from everyone that I've talked to. People are running into, and just like all signs point to it. And even a tidbit that I heard was that maybe it would be. I would say my guess would be July 3rd or July 4th. He would make the decision, and then they're supposed to drop this Space Jam 2 trailer right after she makes the decision, and my guess is that
has LA all over it.
Been written, yeah, and I think that LA is already in that script that he's a Laker.
Wow, I didn't even think of that.
Story about the Lakers, yeah. I really think that's
breaking news, everybody. Danny's breaking news right now.
I'm not sure. I'm not positive. That's not breaking news. I just my guess, just from everything that I see and read, This is not.
All right. Now let's go over worst case scenario because we got to be prepared for that. What do the Lakers do if they don't get anyone?
I think we're still fine. If we don't get anybody, I think that the chances are we're going to get at least one. I think there's probably 70-80% chance we'll get at least one. But let's say we don't get anybody. I think we're still in a great position. We have a lot of young guys that we've built up over the years that have a lot of potential. All these number 2 picks that we got, and then hitting big with late draft picks like Kuzma and Hart. Like you said, we're still in a really good place as far as next year. even if we brought everybody back, I think we're still, even say we didn't get Paul George, I think, and we brought everybody back, we would still be close to a playoff team. We would be right there. And because the guys are only going to improve a lot. Kuzma's going to improve. Ingram, I think Lonzo's going to make a big leap next year. I know you're not a big Lonzo guy, but I think Lonzo will be good next year as well. So, if they didn't say nothing, we didn't get anybody, right? We struck out. Well, we still have a great chance at signing Kawhi next summer. We still have, the cap space. We'll probably would resign Randall. Randall's has a great future in front of him. So things will still be looking good in Lakerland. It's just that our hopes have been built up so much by, Lakers being in the news every day. I mean, you watch PTI, right? Pardon the interruption, and the first three stories are LeBron, Kawhi, Paul George, and it's all Lakers, Lakers, Lakers.
Yeah.
So of course we're hyped up because we're like, damn, we got to get one of these guys. And if you look over in Vegas right now, that's a great indicator of what's going on. And right now in Vegas, if you bet, the Lakers are the prohibitive favorites to land LeBron James. So they're 4 to 13 favorites. So what that means is you have to bet $13 to get back $4 if you're saying he's going to the Lakers. And, Vegas doesn't put up odds for no reason, when there's money involved, there's a lot of research that goes into it.
Well, yeah, the wise guys have their sources on where to get their answers from, so.
Right. They're not just throwing off lines there. So, Lakers are a huge favorite, I think, for a good reason. So I like in our odds, but say we didn't get anybody, I still like where we're at.
No, yeah, and I agree because then, it won't be the fast route to a championship, but it'll be, I guess, a fun route because then we get to see, our guys grow organically and it's fun that way. It's like, okay, this is what a lot of Laker fans actually want. They want to see Lonzo and Kuzma and Ingram and Randall and Josh Hart and all these guys grow together and become a really good team. And there's a big risk involved in that because let's say Magic decided to do that from day one. Like, you know what? No, I'm not going to go get LeBron, Kawhi, and Paul George. And then 4 years from now, we never get better than a 6 seed. They're going to look back at Magic Johnson as one of the biggest dummies ever because you had the opportunity to get 3 Hall of Famers, one that happens to be arguably the best ever, and you passed on them for Lonzo, Ingram, and Kyle Kuzma. I mean, he would get crucified for the rest of his career as at least GM-wise, So I think Magic is also in a spot where he has to make this trade because if he doesn't, then it's like, well, you better hope these guys pan out because there's no guarantees that they'll be, superstars. They might be good players. They look like they'll be good players, but you don't know the caliber they'll be to maybe get us to that level of championship. So I think it's a risk, and I think it's a risk that Magic has to take. And Laker fans have to brace for Kuzma being gone and Ingram being gone. And I don't know if you heard the story today, but Lonzo Ball might be involved in maybe a third team coming in with the Orlando Magic who need a point guard right now. And I guess they're interested in the combination of Lonzo Ball and Aaron Gordon. Have you heard anything there?
No, I haven't heard anything there. I mean, it makes sense that teams it makes sense that Spurs don't want Lonzo and the circus that he brings. It makes sense to me that LeBron would not want to play with Lonzo just because of that, honestly. I think LeBron likes Lonzo's game as far as the guy that shares the ball. He went to the Summer League game. Lonzo put on a little show for him. But you can obviously tell that he's not very fond of LeVar Ball and the antics that he brings. And he doesn't like any time that LeVar has put LeBron's name or his kid's name in his mouth. So I think he would prefer that Lonzo gets shipped out if he were to come.
Yeah, and that's what I've been telling most people. Like, you know what? I think if LeBron's here, Lonzo's not, and it might even not have anything to do with Lonzo. But like the saying goes, you're tolerated until you can be replaced. And had Lonzo had the talent of a Ben Simmons or a Donovan Mitchell or even a Dennis Smith Jr., I think you can tolerate that because he's good enough to tolerate. But I think with the circus the father brings and Lonzo's a talented player, but he might not be that transcendent guy that they thought.
Right. And another huge factor here is his shooting ability.
Yeah.
So if LeBron comes, he needs to be surrounded by shooters. And that's the last thing that Lonzo is at this point. He shot 36% from the field, 45% from the line. I mean, you got it when if LeBron's on the court. You need shooters. So Kuzma is a perfect fit next to LeBron, even more so than Ingram's a better player, but Kuzma is a better fit because he's a guy that can hit wide open shots, which you're going to get a lot of when you have LeBron there. So I think you already look at the draft, and they drafted two guys that are just shooters. That's all they did, right?
Now
and they're going to try to surround the LeBron with shooters, I think, and that's not what Lonzo is.
True, and I agree with you on that. Now let's go home run scenario. Lakers get them all. Our young guys are pretty much gone. They've given away. Lonzo got traded. Kuzma got traded. Ingram got traded. Hart got traded. But we got the home run package. We got LeBron. We got George. We got Kawhi. How do they fill out this roster? And when they do, are they automatically catapulted to the top to compete for that final spot? Do they meet the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals is basically my question.
Right. Yeah, I think so. I think they're right there with the Warriors. And that's another thing, going back to what you were saying about Magic and what if we struck out this year. Well, realistically, we're probably not winning the championship next year. I think Golden State's still prohibitive favorites there no matter what, really. So, it's not the worst thing to wait 1 year. And then Magic, of course, he put his neck out there. He said that if we don't get someone big this year, summer or next summer, I'm out. So for him to say that, that tells me a lot. That tells me that he really thinks that we're going to land somebody big. And, everything in the news, all the media talking about points towards that. But, yeah, we got everybody. There's no guarantee of a championship next year because it takes time for these things to gel. We got to get the role players around them, which is another huge thing about LeBron, is that when he comes to a team, other players are willing to come at a discounted price and play around him. So that's a huge advantage that other teams don't get, because guys are not willing to take a minimum deal to play for the Sacramento Kings or for the Lakers when they suck, right?
Exactly.
When the Lakers have a championship contending team, you're going to get guys like back in the day, Karl Malone and Gary Payton came for on the way cheap, right? Players come on the way cheap to play with LeBron all the time. So that gives you a competitive advantage even more so. So of course LeBron is a big domino, and maybe they don't win the title next year with those three, but I really like their shots going forward, and maybe the year after and the year after. And who knows? Even if it's next year, they got the right pieces around them, and they gel before the end of the year. It's possible they can knock off Golden State as well.
And I hope you're right, 100%. Now, final question for you before we end this podcast: what happens Saturday night?
Saturday night when free agency hits?
Yes, sir.
All right. I don't think LeBron signs right away. I think that's going to be a couple more days. I think Lakers are going to be waiting, playing a little bit of a waiting game. They're not going to. Everyone's waiting for LeBron to sign, and that's when everything is going to happen after that. So I think LeBron's going to happen around July 3rd, July 4th, and then all the big names are going to go. So for the Lakers, I don't see much activity those first couple days.
All right, folks. Well, you heard it from Danny there. Well, I hope you're wrong, because I hope Paul George signs immediately at 9:01 p.m. and I hope
immediately. Yeah. I don't think he's going to wait to see what LeBron does first.
I'm tired of waiting. My
I know you're tired, but where's Paul George? You think he's going to be tired of waiting?
Yeah, I mean, I think Paul George and LeBron probably have been in communication a little bit already, so they probably do it together. But yeah, I mean, you're more likely to be right. It might take a few more days after that 9:01 p.m. start of free agency. So we'll see, though.
Hey, Chris, as long as we're not giving Mozgov a max deal at 9:01, I'm happy. All right.
Yeah, seriously, that was pretty bad. We lost a pretty good player in that deal with D'Angelo Russell.
Let's take a second to look back at how far we've come with the new management. Now these guys are at least in the mix, right? Mozgov and Luol Deng.
Definitely, because if we still had Mitch and Jim, we likely aren't in this mix for Paul George and Kawhi and LeBron.
Right.
So, all right. Well, Danny, tell them where they can find you.
All right. So you can find me on Twitter at Danny Kohan. That's at Danny Kohan. And then I got a podcast that I've started. I'm about 7 or 8 episodes in, and I'm going to have you. I have your commitment, right, Chris? You coming on podcast for a podcast?
Yes, you do, sir.
All right, nice. Yeah, so the podcast is Serenity Now Sports Podcast. You can find that on iTunes or Google Play. Just type in the Serenity Now Sports Podcast.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I can't wait to jump on that. All right, guys. That's our show, In the Front Row, InTheFrontRow.com. Check out the website. A lot of guys got they have great pieces going up there on all things from basketball, baseball, college, high school, you name it, we got it. So we're going to be like you guys, following all the updates coming in the next 48 hours, so we're hoping a lot of action goes down. We'll definitely be on Twitter keeping you guys in tune. So check us out, guys, and we'll talk to you again next week.